Yes,
to
sir.
the entire
Thanks, sir.
family also.
I will convey your best wishes to her, sir. Thank you so
Definitely,
much.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Sir, then I think participants, they will join, sir, in 5 minutes, and because
Yeah.
start to
I deliberately joined few minutes before
yes, sir.
because
Yes, sir.
sometimes technical issues arose. So this is my habit that whenever it's an online, I
Yes,
try
sir.
to
Yes,
join
sir.
5 minutes before. Yeah.
Actually,
Because
that would help. That would help you also. Actually, some of the points which you didn't cover, you can cover now.
yeah. So I myself was thinking that Jyoti Kumarji has put me at number 2, so it's a little more challenging.
Yeah.
So I was myself planning to join the session.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That otherwise, you see, there is no continuity. The same topic is for
Yes,
both of
sir.
us,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
there are going to be certain things which are overlapped. So it was rather required on my part, and I really enjoyed and learned a lot from him. It was very good
Yeah.
delivery.
Yes,
And
sir.
then the follow-up discussion also.
Yes, sir.
Bhartenduji is here. Bhartenduji, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how are you?
Fine, sir. Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. So you are heading the department at the moment, is that?
No, sir. Yeah, as in charge only. Professor Jyoti Kumar is head now. Third term.
Third.
Yes.
Third or fourth, I was going to ask.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Fourth time may not be possible. So third time enough, sir. And now he's heading the department as in charge. He's in charge, and
Because
most likely from December he will be the dean of the school also, Professor Bhartendu.
Acha. Very good. Excellent. So Bhartenduji, now you are a full professor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I see. Great. Congratulations.
From
That's
2014,
really
sir. From 2014, he's a
professor. Retrospectively. Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe he is much younger to us, and he would also become a senior professor.
Yes, sir.
In the university. 2014 is pretty good time. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And department must be doing well. I mean, under the able leadership of Jyoti Kumarji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People like you, very good. This always, an enjoyable part for me, and not only in my introduction for today's session, but everywhere, wherever I go, I introduce myself as former professor of ISOL.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it is really, something. And then when I mention ISOL, anybody who is having some connection with Northeast would find me akin to him. He says, sir, in our Northeast, this is what happens, Yeah. So that way, yes, good memories of Mizoram, always. Shankar, do you have interaction with Shankar Jyoti Kumarji these days?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he is with Sikkim University only.
Sikkim,
Yeah.
Heading the department also?
Still associate professor. His professorship is due for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe next time he will be.
No, that's good part. I mean, your all administrators must be given accolades for that. That they have given justified to everybody, like, retrospective promotion. Yes. And, in most part of the country, including Rajasthan, that's not happening. People are due for professor for last 10, 11 years, and nothing is happening.
Yes, sir. So in our university, actually, we filled up almost all more than 90% of vacancies we filled up.
Excellent.
And only appointment letters we have not issued. After EC, we will issue appointment letters.
Yeah, naturally.
Among central universities also, our record is good, sir, in terms of filling up of the posts and.
I see. Even among central universities also doing better.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Professor,
that is not only going to help individual teachers, but yes. You can understand, you are one of the senior most persons there. That is helping the university better, in fact.
Yes.
The same person's empowerment would be helping university a great deal, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So, sir, with your permission, I will start the session.
Yeah, and, I think it's time.
Actually, this morning, nearly 70 participants they participated, and in this session also, all of them will join. And this is the second and final session for today's workshop. And I'm happy and privileged to introduce Professor G Soral, a well-known personality in the field of commerce and management, and basically is from Rajasthan. and he had started his career as assistant professor in 1981. So, he served that university in different capacities. And before his superannuation in 2020, he also served the university as officiating vice chancellor. And he has a lot of contribution to the field of commerce and management, and especially for accounting education. And he served Indian Accounting Association as president, and we all know that Indian Accounting Association is the largest professional body of academics involved in accounting education. And he was also a founder of one important initiative, that is he conducted more than 10 years, he coordinated the National Talent Test in Accounting. Every year he used to conduct that test across the country, and that is one of his contributions to the field of accounting. And there are many other achievements to his credit in terms of publications, and he provided research guidance for more than 25 PhD scholars. And after his superannuation also, he is very active in providing research guidance for 7 more scholars. And he is a popular speaker in different HRDC, the programs conducted by UGC HRD centers in different universities. And I don't want to take much time, and with this very brief introduction, I request Professor G Soral to take over.
Thank you,
welcome,
Professor Jyoti Kumarji.
Yes,
thank you for giving me this opportunity. Mizoram University Aizawl, of which I myself have been an employee before. And my regards to Professor Bhartenduji also. And my greetings to all the participants who are joining. You see, we are from the older generation, as was mentioned by Professor Jyoti Kumar, that I have already superannuated. I had a tenure of about 39 years as a faculty in the universities. Mostly I was with Mohanlal Sukhade University, Udaipur, where I still reside, and a stint of my time at Mizoram University Aizawl itself. Friends, it is always, a rewarding and rejuvenating experience to talk to your own colleagues in HRDCs. Therefore, I always prefer these assignments, as very important and preferable. Now, the topic for today, which Professor Jyoti Kumar mentioned to me when it was being decided, is a micro topic actually. I was in the session right since morning, and my other fellow speakers session I was attending and enjoying. Interactions and the questions raised by you, Bhartenji was conducting that. Very interesting was everything actually. And I was mentioning to Jyoti Kumarji that it's a micro aspect of our NEP. And you want a complete day workshop on that. That's really great. And it's a little challenge to the speakers also, that we have to micro focus on everything. But a very relevant aspect of the NEP to be discussed by us who have been in the academy for a little longer time, and to talking to our own youngster friends. So, the coverage by Professor Mohan Rao earlier is, almost comprehensive. Let me see if I can avoid some repetitions and can really talk some sense to you. Okay, so let me try to share the screen now. Zoom platform, Zoom, share screen. Yeah. Is it visible? Screen?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Please,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Friends, so this was the topic. As you are all aware, you have been listening very useful deliberations on this topic. I have a little ventured, as you can see here, in adding one more term here, accountable. So it is motivated, energetic, capable, and accountable faculty. Actually, this term has also been used in the NEP, but that's different. I mean, organizers have decided motivated, energetic, capable. But I thought, let me add this because that will perhaps clarify my message more loudly. Okay, so I take permission of the chair for talking on accountability of the faculty also here. Friends, all these things have been touched upon, and I don't think hardly any introduction is required for that. One thing I would like definitely to repeat, and I would agree with my predecessor speaker, that in any academic institution of higher learning, particularly, faculties, are the building blocks. The entire burden, entire credit, discredit also may be attached with the faculties. That is the main source. And therefore, in the whole NEP, whatever things have been mentioned, this is the important aspect that should be pondered over, that should be talked about, discussed, particularly among, all of us, like the setting which we have today. That, I mean, we who are little elderly faculties, you who are little younger faculties, talking on these aspects which NEP expects us to have. So, I mean, yes, for us, this is the most important aspect. What I have proposed to do is, is slightly different on the line that my predecessor has spoken. And now let me see, can I really pass on my message to you? These are all my personal thoughts, and I own responsibility of talking about them with my little experience in the academy. Whatever I have my feelings about these things, I'm going to share with you. What I have done is, when I was planning my delivery for this session, I've made them little rearranged. So, would like to talk to you about capable faculty aspects first. Okay, so that little rearrangement to suit my delivery actually. Friends, who is a capable faculty? Think in terms of the entire nation. Think in terms of all the academic institutions in the entire nation. All colleges, all state universities, central universities, deemed universities, other private universities, all which are in higher education. What do we expect, what the nation expects, what the NEP expects from the faculty to be capable about? Okay. So the first thing is this. UGC has laid down qualification for faculties, good academic record, doctoral degree. They say they are the minimum standards of qualification for a faculty. But there are universities in the country, which I know maybe many of you may be knowing also, that they say that they are the minimum standards. We are fixing higher standards than those minimum standards for our recruitment processes. Right? Now, this tells us that if you want somebody to send to a class in higher education system, ensure that the person should be qualified in terms of these basic things which have been put in rules, etc. The point which I am trying to hint here at is that certain such things were talked about during the discussion of the earlier session also. That many things are happening. You see, this is a very vast country. At the moment in NEP, they are targeting 35% GER. And at the moment, it is approaching 26, 27%. Somewhere, okay. So crores of persons are to be engaged in higher education system. How are we going to cater to their needs by providing qualified faculty? Right. So lot many things I have personally noticed that in this regard point also, sometimes, there is some lacuna here also. So that is the very first thing which I would like to reiterate, that capability of the faculty in terms of its qualification is the most important number one point to be considered. Now, as I said, these are my personal views and I own all responsibility for discussing them here. I many times have said at public platforms also, in various committees also of the government, wherever I used to participate, that I always feel that there is a centralized recruitment process need for higher education faculties at national level, because the transparency and reliability in recruitment of faculties, right? I'm not talking about any particular university, state, okay, or region of the country. I'm talking as a whole about the entire country, and my word is an academic word. Okay, these are my views which I'm sharing, right, with regards to all actually. Lot number of times we notice that the transparency and reliability, as I have mentioned the term, in the recruitment process have been questioned. Particularly if you talk to those who couldn't get in as a faculty in at a desired position. If you talk to them because they couldn't get it, maybe for that reason, right? They would talk about several stories in this regard. Further, we as teachers, I in particular as a teacher, over my entire life of 4 decades as a teacher, have seen that there are cases where somebody who is deserving might not have got it. And all sorts of stories are coming out. Transparency is questioned. So the point which I'm trying to make here is that the UGC scales that the teachers are getting are akin and similar to the scales of civil services. And the recruitment system of the civil servants is entirely different as compared to that of higher education faculties. Why cannot we think in this country, once a great NEP has come, to lift up the stature of higher education, to ensure that the faculty is really capable and the recruitments are truly transparent and reliable? Right. I don't say that they are not so at the moment. Right. But if we go for a better system, it is better ensured. So that is only my call. Like what happens in case of central recruitment system of the civil servants. You all know about it. There is a central agency, UPSC, it recruits. A central process is there, prelims examination all over the country, then mains, then a central interview system. Right, all precautions are made in order to make the system foolproof, qualitative. Then there are cadres fixed. If I am teaching in, if I belong to Rajasthan, for example, I may have a cadre in Tamil Nadu. And if you are from Mizoram, you may have a cadre in Bihar. We all have seen that our great bureaucrats, civil servants are doing a great job for the country by doing this. And their capabilities are undoubtedly well recognized. So in order to ensure this aspect of NEP, that the faculty must be a capable one, we must improve the quality, we must further ensure transparency and reliability in this system, right? Through, this way, as I have proposed, a central, the time has come when the country must think in this direction. This is a grade service, the position of higher education faculties is A grade. Why cannot we think in line like for civil servants in this regard? A related point to this is regarding inbreeding. You may be knowing, friends, that in many IITs and IIMs in particular, to the extent I know about it, there is a restriction on inbreeding very clearly. Somewhere it is mentioned that you cannot join the same institution as a teacher for at least some 3-4 years in the beginning. Therefore, all the young teachers who join those institutions have not been the students of the same system. We call our higher education institutions as universities. In what way they are universal? We find cases everywhere, right? In my state also, and perhaps all parts of the country. Somebody who graduated from the same university, post-graduated there, very capable person, right? I'm not doubting the capability of such persons at all. Very bright person, got recruited there, became assistant professor, associate professor, vice chancellor also in the same university, right? What's the harm in this? They say there is a son of the soil argument. Yeah, argument may be valid. But my point is, higher education requires universality. Let us come out of this mindset. Like in our country, which is full of diversities in all terms, in terms of languages, food, everything for that matter, social systems and all. Let there be an intercultural exchange among institutions in faculties. I'm very sure this will make our faculty set in the country more capable. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words I have written here. You all may be aware of that. Teaching, research, extension, administration, and consultancy. A person, a faculty in higher education is supposed to do these 5 things in varied proportions. Now again, NEP is talking about research universities, teaching universities. Somewhere consultancy is not permitted. So all those variations are there. But in all, if we look at the whole system, any faculty member being recruited, coming to the system of higher education in a college, university, or other institution must be capable of all these 5. And exceptional abilities may be in 1 or 2. Yes, no problem. Like somebody may be a very good teacher, but not that good researcher. Somebody may be extremely good on extension, but not that good on teaching, but good on research. Right. So a minimum good standard of all these 5, every faculty must possess. And of course, specialization wise or capability wise, personality wise, somebody may be focusing on one or the other aspect. Some faculty members, you will must have yourself noticed, they are very good at administration, but others may not be that good at administration. They may be good at extension or research. Some of the faculty members are excellent in consultancy. Okay, so that variation will remain. But when we think of the capabilities of a faculty, we must focus on all these 5. And regarding you all friends who are listening to me, I would say, please keep a watch on all these aspects of your capabilities. If you find that somewhere you need further to strengthen yourself, go ahead with that. Strengthen yourself further into that. Right? Because that will only make you multifarious. And friends, another thing which I would like to add here is that, you see, all these things are interconnected. Particularly if I, elaborate this point in this way, that say you are going to your class. About that we have been discussing since 11 o'clock. 1 minute, please. Sure. Right. So once you are going to a class, your remaining aspects of your job, research, extension, administration, or consultancy, are also reflecting when you are delivering in the class. So undoubtedly, this is my feeling again, my own views. A teacher who has exposure to all these things in an equally good manner is definitely more valuable faculty in the class. Many of you may agree with me that when, like, you are doing a research project and side by side you're teaching and other things are also going on. Whenever you enter a class and talking to your students, many things from your current research area, your project, are automatically entering into your voice and being delivered to the students. That is going to benefit the students more, right? So this is also one thing which I would like to tell you. Yeah. So I mean, these 4 bullets I have jotted down for a faculty to be capable, and as Professor Jyoti Kumar told me that I am given time to speak for about 1 hour, and then we will have discussion. I would be very happy to listen to you regarding these viewpoints. Even if you do not agree with something, please be very frank in criticizing me. I would only learn from you. No issues on that. Okay. But this is what I feel, that how do we define a capable faculty, and how should we promote a capable faculty, and what should be our mindset in terms of having capable faculties in the arena of higher education in India. Now, next to it, I would like to talk about the accountability of the faculty, right? And the motivation and other aspects I will take later. Okay, friends, my previous speaker was also in between many times touching upon this thing and saying, like, I remember, if correctly, by the time that he was just concluding in his last 1 or 2 minutes of his lecture, he said one very good point. And he said, see, you have some 60 students sitting before you. You are making their life. And that is every year also, he said. Every year you are getting fresh 60 students to make their life. What a great responsibility you have as a faculty. Excellent word from him. Friends, I would like to add something to what Professor Ramarao said. See, this is there, that those 60 students are there. I consider it even more by saying that actually a confidence reposed by parents of 60 students is waiting for your response. You see, we all have children, okay? And as parents, we take all care in sending them to school and handing them over to a teacher. They are, after all, our children. And unless we have good confidence that our children will be studying in safe hands, who will be the parent to send the child to the class? So see, 60 students sitting before you are 60 living human beings, right? Very, very precious persons, plus 120 parents. You actually are satisfying the needs of 180 persons in one class every time afresh. Society looks up to you that you will be really great persons, you know, particularly individually for those 180. What a great confidence is reposed in you. Therefore, it is very essential that we must watch what accountability faculties must possess. Right? The faculties must be role models. You see, in higher education system, we deal with youngsters. They are already grown up boys and girls. Mostly they're adults. I strongly believe that in an institution, university or college, students are less taught by our speaking delivery in the class, more by our behavior, more by our body language, more by our activities outside the classroom. They have a close watch on us all the time. Even when, I mean, it's a city, say for example, not very big city like Delhi or Hyderabad, right? But a city like Aizawl, for example, or Udaipur, where I belong, not very big city. Udaipur has a population about 5 lakh only. You are a model for your students even outside your campus. Even when you go for a sightseeing and your students are around, you have to be a role model for them. Even if you are going with your family in the for a picture in a multiplex, there also, you can't say that, see, this is my personal time, I have all liberty to behave in the manner I want. No, dear friends, at all, no. That is why still we teachers enjoy a special reputation in the entire society. Enjoy that reputation. Who has got that reputation? Hardly anybody else other than teachers. The type of stature we have in the minds of the societal beings, nobody else has. So this is an accountability that we have to be role model. Consider that anything that you do, you speak, you walk, you talk, you behave with anybody outside is also responsibility of you towards your students. Therefore, a good conduct and a high ethical standards must be possessed by faculties. In all the uh, uh, appointments, agreements which we make with the young faculties, it's everywhere in the country. There is a document which we ask the faculty to sign regarding the conduct and behavior. That is official part of it. But outside that official part is what I am talking to you. How can a faculty afford to lose its conduct in any aspect of life? How can a faculty think of being even slightly unethical? You would realize this, all of you are teachers. Say if one of your student comes to you, maybe a very young student of undergraduation, and identifies that something which you said earlier, not to him, but to maybe somebody else, was a lie. Even this small error on part of your conduct and behavior would make you ashamed before your student. Your whole stature is shattered. But I'm very sorry to say that many times, not few times, we come across stories about faculties here and there compromising on this bullet point number 2. Sometimes very seriously compromising. Even to my mind, this is extremely important. And at least I am of the personal view that, special conduct rules for teachers, which may be expecting the teachers to behave even better in ethical standards as compared to other officers of the similar stature, are all justified. Like you see, the judiciary, okay, even a session judge, okay, is supposed to be more ethically sound, in behavior and everything than anybody else. Teachers perhaps are even better in my mind, because there the judiciary is in fact confined to some particular aspects of life. Teacher, I mean, is being viewed from 360-degree angle every time. Every time you are teaching, even if you are walking on the road, you are teaching actually. Even you are talking to some third person, you are teaching actually. Very responsible job. And what accountability further other than these things that was touched by my previous speakers also, that you must continuously learn. He also very rightly said, you must learn, unlearn and relearn, which Bhartenduji was also highlighting in his remarks later. Very right. I think that has already been elaborated at length. I would only say that in higher education, dear friends, perhaps you are aware that our duties are defined by UGC, because we are in UGC scale, have 4 quadrants, which include teaching, preparation for teaching also, research, and other administrative aspects as are assigned to us time to time. What does it mean? This means that we are also paid for, I would repeat, paid for studying on our own, making our own growth, doing our own research. That will definitely give us only a growth. You see, when I'm sitting at home and studying something for hours together, I am improving myself only. In what way I am giving anything to my students at that moment of time? Of course, at that moment of time, I'm not giving anything. Still, it is the part of my duty, and my workload of 40 hours and so has a component for self-study and research also that we normally not appreciate. And you must have heard many times, those who do not know about these things about college teachers and university teachers, they used to say, I mean, you have a very comfortable life, my dear. You go to your college, teach for 2 hours and come back. Because today you didn't have any administrative assignment. You finished your classes and came back. Now your neighbor is looking at you that my family member is a bank manager. He will be returning in the evening. This fellow has come to home at 1 o'clock and taking lunch comfortably. They perhaps do not appreciate that faculty members at higher education level are actually working for 24/7 into 365. We hardly have any weekend, Sunday, you see. Most of us, Professor Jyoti Kumar, Professor Bhartenduji will agree with me. Most of the time we are working on academics during the holidays, the Sundays, the weekends, the evenings, are we not? We are preparing for our class, or we are guiding some research scholar on Sundays, very common. That is the accountability that we have. We have to ensure that our academic growth is satisfactory, sustainable. And of course, about feedback also discussion came up in the last session. We must ensure that our students' feedback remains good always. Professor Ramarao was telling about self-evaluation. Very good word, very good word. But I would say, let us also ensure wherever the system of students' feedback, formal system is there, we are accountable to ensure good feedback. You may be knowing that in many countries, abroad, India, there are systems where, in order to ensure that the teachers have been accountable to their job, open sessions are organized where all faculty members are sitting, all students are sitting. Anybody who has been taught during the semester is free to come to the dais and talk about any faculty's performance openly, good or bad. We are really accountable. What happens is that these are some aspects. I think this is the last one. Yeah. So let me go back. Yeah. 4.7. Now let me comment as a whole on this accountability aspect. With a little pain in my heart, I would share with you that, as I was said, I joined the academy as a teacher about 4 decades before, little more than that. During my own active lifetime as a teacher, I have seen reputation of faculties in higher education in particular, because that is my focus for the moment. So I'm commenting on that. Has declined. They say that it is also because the value system in the society has also changed. Yes, that also is there. Like when I was a student during 1970s in particular, I remember that how did I behave with my teachers? What sort of feelings about my teachers I used to have? How did I behave with them and all? I distinctly remember that one of my teachers who taught me at a school level, secondary school level. When I became a professor in my university, he visited Udaipur and he had some known person in the colony where I was staying. He saw my nameplate and he says, "Oh, Soral, he has been my student." So he came and rang the bell and he entered. When I am truly telling you, dear friends, when he entered my drawing room, I, with lot of respect and regard, touched his feet and said, "Sir, I am really grateful that you have made it over here. Kindly have a seat on the sofa set which is put over here." He was taking a seat. Okay. I was standing. I was really not in a position to sit on other sofa set because at the same level, my old teacher was sitting. And I actually asked him that, "Sir, if you kindly permit me, can I sit on the floor? I cannot sit nearby you." Then he very affectionately said, "No, my dear, you are like my son. Please sit here." So he grabbed me and made me sit over there. I still have that feeling. How can I sit nearby my teacher? Dear friends, that situation, maybe because of the social values changing, right? The distance between parents and uh, you know children have also reduced, changed according to the time. Those things I am not talking actually. Social systems, fine. But because somewhere, in one form or the other, as a whole, we, the faculty members in this country, might not have justified on these parameters which I am sharing with you. Perhaps we have lost our reputation to some extent. Still, we are highly reputed, let me tell you. People used to say nobody regards teachers these days, you see. Even if you are an administrative officer of a certain rank, right? Somebody will salute you, okay? And you need not put yourself in a queue for anything, any small services. But if you are a teacher, nobody regards you, okay? That is, to my mind, an absolutely wrong feeling. A teacher standing in a queue doesn't mean that his stature has been lost. Because all around the teacher would always look up to him. Oh, he's a teacher. Great regards. In certain villages in my state, even now I am telling you, this is of course from a village life. Urbanized life is a little different, but in village life in Rajasthan, still now there are situations when the primary school teacher of that particular village, if he's crossing the market, there is a tradition that all the shopkeepers on either side of the road would stand up automatically. The teacher is so old that he is not able to see who is standing. But that doesn't matter. This is the tradition. This is the respect of the society for teachers. By and large, this is continuing even in urbanized places. You would agree with me. I have myself experienced it. You might also have experienced that wherever you are living, if you are living in a colony where all teachers are not there, for example, everybody when passes through your house, they have a positive feeling. Teacher is here. They feel safe when they cross across your house. Why? Because we, the teachers of in higher education, satisfy these standards. We are so responsible towards our behavior, formally or informally, that society always has faith in us, regards us for our abilities. Now, friends, let me move to one more aspect, and that is regarding the motivation and the energies in the faculty. You can call it energized or energetic faculty, okay? So I have told you so many things so far, that you should be capable, you should be accountable. How about those aspects which make me a human being who is a teacher motivated and energetic? Very important aspects to be taken care of. A motivating and conducive work environment must be ensured for every faculty member. You see, a faculty member is not like any other professional. I often say and feel that when you are a teacher and you are interacting with these students, particularly when you are going to a class, what are you delivering? Are you delivering something which related with the subject that you have prepared and are trying to pass on those contents to your students? Only? Definitely not. That may be your main aspect of going to the class and talking to the students on the subject. But to my mind, you are actually delivering your personality. You are distributing and delivering your personality to the class. Your psyche is to the class. Your emotions to the class. If you are frustrated, depressed, maybe for official or personal reasons, you will deliver the same thing in the classroom. You would agree with me on this. Like you were walking from your chamber to your class, okay? On the way, something happened. Maybe something administrative which was not liked by you. You felt harassed because of that or something. And immediately thereafter, after 2 minutes, you have to enter your class. What happens in the class? You might have noticed, at least I have myself experienced many times, when I was a student, the teacher will come into the class, students will stand up and say, sir, good morning. He says, sit down. He is not happy. He is annoyed. The student says, sir is annoyed. So they are little scared. But the teacher's face is red. And he is utilizing 90% of his time in the class, talking something wrong about somebody outside because he's trying to, air out his feelings in the class. Therefore, it is doubly important to ensure in what work environment teachers are doing, whether it is conducive, whether it is motivating. Some more aspects in this regard are these. So this aspect was being discussed in the earlier session. I was enjoying that. And Professor Jyoti Kumar also asked a question, very pertinent question he asked to the speaker regarding guest faculties and the casual faculties and the contractual faculties and whatnot. Dear friends, tell me one thing. Of course, the previous speaker is himself responsible for everything. He's in a government setup at the moment. So maybe that whatever he was to say was very important. A responsible statement has to come from that side. I am talking on this point from just an academic person's view. My question is, UGC has already fixed our grades. They say an assistant professor should be in the AGP of 6,000 and like that 6, 7, 8, 9 above. And the initial salaries of a fresh joining assistant professor are equal to somewhere the ICS officer, as I said, A grade pay scale, right? I would also like to mention and reiterate that all the pay commissions in India so far have always placed higher education teaching services, equivalent to A grade services, and payments have to be like that. Let me tell you my own instance. When I joined in 1981, I distinctly remember my pay scale was 700 to 1600 basic pay, rupees 700 to 1600. The administrative officers at the same time, my own friends, many friends went to the administrative services. Their payments scale was 700 to 1350. That means my pay scales were better. And that must have been decided by some pay commission. Okay. Same thing is going on even now. With the 7th pay commission, same thing. Even now, the promotions are even accelerated as compared to my days. Right? So this is a considered view of our setup, our administrative set up that we should be paid adequately at our level that much. Now, dear friends, tell me, how do you justify with whatever name you call a faculty, guest faculty or whatever, casual faculty or whatever, faculty serving a private institution which is not aided by the government? That, I mean, just to take some imaginary figures here. Okay. A teacher who is being paid in a central or state university according to the government's grade, full grade, say 1,000 rupees, right? And another teacher teaching almost the same classes, right? In an affiliating college, which is private college, maybe in a rural area, which is not been aided. And whatever name you give to that faculty, the same class, say the first year graduation class, same teacher is teaching at both the places, same level of teacher. In the university with the full grade of say 1,000 rupees, as compared to him, for the same classes setup, the person who is teaching in this setup is getting 50 rupees. 50 rupees, I said. Actually, that is the proportion. I'm myself the witness of even worse situation regarding payment to college faculties in this country. How do you expect an adequate motivation and quality delivery by some such persons? I am greatly pained to say this here, but because I am myself the witness, I can tell you anonymously, I have seen the institutions where a peon is getting more wages than a lecturer. How do you assess this situation? Which NEP is going to achieve its targets if the country is not paying attention to this phenomenon? I would rather say, why do you permit some person who is underpaid to go to the class? Let the government say, no, nothing to it. You see, you tell me, in any other administrative service, do you have casual collectors? Do you have casual, any post casual doctors who are very underpaid? Only teachers are there. That too in higher education, because that's our focus. School education also, there is a separate story, which I'm not touching at the moment. So I would definitely make a word here with all emphasis at my command that as per norms, only the higher education faculty should be paid. The system must ensure that any student who is in whatever type of college or university studying is being taught by a faculty who is having full belly food with him, not half belly food. Otherwise, why are we talking about all energies and motivation? Friends, this is another irony. I myself have first-hand eyewitness examples, long list with me. So I need not take any vouch from anybody regarding this third bullet point. Teachers are immensely overloaded with administration. Undoubtedly, administration is part of our job. Professor Jyoti Kumar is head of department. Bhartendu ji is going to become dean. After their normal teaching hours, they used to go for several committees, administrative work. You all friends, maybe some of you may be principals, some of you may be heads of departments. Yes. Some of you may be dean students welfare. Yes. That's part of our duty. But excessive? Excessive to the extent. One example I would like to share with you. First-hand knowledge about this example. This is a teacher who is teaching my subject. I'm with accountancy specialization. So we used to teach income taxation, goods and services taxation and all. This teacher in that particular institution is taking care of the income tax assessment, Form 16, and filling for the TDS of all these staff, because he knows the things. Okay. Then he is supposed to go to anywhere, with these files and take the care of it. He's almost say 6 hours time, working time of a college there. Every day he's spending 3 to 4 hours on this only. Then several other duties have been assigned. I know and would like to share this with you, though it's very painful to share because we are having an in-house meeting sort of. We are all teachers talking here. One teacher I know who has been my student actually earlier, so therefore I have the first-hand information. He says, "Sir, I am no more a teacher. Don't call me a lecturer. Don't call me a lecturer. I'm not teaching." I said, "How come? You are an appointed lecturer, bhai." He said, "No, my principal has assigned me so much duty that if you come to my college, you will always find me in the office. Either because he says, you see, there is no person to supervise, so please help me. Leave your class, that I will take care. I'll tell the students. Go to the office." He says, "I have forgotten my subject. For last many months, I'm just doing clerical things, supervision maybe by the way, going here and there, going to the administrative officers, going to the directorate, talking about it." So friends, this is extremely important. Much can be said on this point actually. Time may not be permitting me to talk more on this. We must ensure that administrative load, to the extent it should be given, should and must rather be, ought to be limited to the reasonable extent. And this is another aspect. As a teacher, should I not get at least a reasonable ministerial support? If I am to prepare some assignments for my students, somebody may help me in typing them out. If I have prepared a soft copy, somebody may print them, make bundles of the sheets, circulate them in the classroom, yeah, may help me in tabulating some results. All these things are ministerial level. Why do you want me, a highly paid A-grade person, to do all these things? In bigger institutions, particularly again IIMs and IITs, I would say, you know that all professors are assigned a separate clerk in their office. Every professor has his own office where a clerk, independent clerk, is assigned to them. I don't say that let it be a model for all the colleges and universities in the country. Perhaps that much resource we can't afford, and that much requirement also we may not have. There I agree. But my point is that these professors of these known institutions, if are getting this type of support, right? Their system is permitting them, their finances may be permitting them. But do you not agree that with that support, the efficiency and the productivity of these professors have become manifold? So a serious consideration on this point should also be made. In fact, I can't elaborate on so many things in this regard, that what a pity situation is there in many institutions which I have seen regarding ministerial support to teachers. Of course, their students come to their rescue often. If you have research scholars, they would be doing most of your clerical related things, or maybe your younger students are doing. But that also I don't find desirable. That doesn't motivate you. That doesn't give you a good feeling, actually. And about timely promotions, I was talking to Professor Jyoti Kumarji and Bhartenduji just before. Many universities in the country, many colleges in the country, teachers are waiting for their promotions. CAS, the Career Advancement Scheme promotions, right? If you are eligible to become, from grade 6 to 7, 7 to 8,000, promotions are delayed. Maybe some litigation, maybe the government is not permitting. The universities are even in a worse condition. Okay, associate professor, I know, I was quoting that also. A particular university I know, which I can't name. 12, 13 years, a person is eligible to become a full professor. Associate professor is. His salaries are increasing, of course, according to the pay grade. For 13 years, that person is waiting for his promotion as a professor and designated as associate professor. Do you think this fellow will not be really little demotivated? Why are we not giving dues? Okay, you have selection process. Somebody is not found suitable, maybe. Fine, agreed. At least you have the process. At least you permit promotions, the reasonable due promotions to the teachers. And my dear friend, something which is very dear to my heart, I am sharing with you now. Teacher-like treatment, every teacher deserves. I would share with you one story. When I was a fresh teacher of 3-4 years standing, I went to another university for some official work. One of our seniors that time, this professor must have been some 30 years elder to me, like that. So I was student-like for him, okay? And because I was young, I was some 24 years old, somewhere, very recent pass out from college, age-wise also immature. Maybe I might have reacted because I was doing some administrative work there. And I might have found some teachers who are not behaving according to my expectations or whatever. So I just went to him and said, sir, I have complained. Why these people are like that and all? Now he said something to me, which I often quote and always remember, and I would like to share with you also. He said, you see, teachers are like, a pot made of very thin glass. Don't touch it forcefully, it may break. They have very soft heart. Whenever you are going to make complaint to a teacher, use as soft words as possible. They are normally very touchy persons. They are not other type of professionals. Right? He said this in Hindi. I would use that. Some of you may enjoy that. He said, teacher पतले कांच के बर्तन की तरह है. जोर से धक्का लगाओगे, अगर उसमें क्रैक आ गया, वो क्रैक जिंदगी भर नहीं हटता. आप तो उसके बॉस हो सकते हैं, आप उसके प्रिंसिपल भी हो सकते हैं, पर आपको ये शोभा नहीं देता. ये टीचर्स के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का तरीका नहीं है. This is what he told me. He told me that you are young at the moment. Later on, you will also become reader, professor, director, vice chancellor. Remember always, teachers deserve teacher-like behavior. And one more thing I would quote, because my hour is completing, that this instance is again in my first 10 years of my life. Live example, dear friends. One of our deans that time, he was taking round of the institution to see what's happening here and there. Me and one more of my colleague, we were just accompanying him. Now, when we were passing through a corridor, I just noticed that something absurd was written by students on a wall. They are young students, they can do anything. So I immediately rushed and took out my, I just tried to find out my hanky so that, or some duster to rub it off. But since it was not available, I used my hand to rub it off quickly, because I think that if that professor, who is the elderly one, looks at this word, I will feel ashamed. What is this nonsense here? So I quickly rubbed the whole off with my hand. Now this professor perhaps noticed everything. So in a minute he reached me. And he said, what are you doing? Why should you use your hand? We could have called somebody. Yeah. He further said, I understand it was very, very important to rub it off. But no, you are a teacher and you had to use it. He said, I'm dean here. I feel sorry that, you had to do it like this with your own hand. I was much younger to him. I didn't do anything great. He said, no, I'm sorry. As a dean, I'm the administrative head. Sorry, you did that with your hand. Then what did he do, dear friends? He took out his hanky from his pocket and gave me. And he said, please clean your hands. This example, I never have forgotten in my life. This great person is no more now. He was much elderly even at that time. But he has given me a great message for my entire life to go ahead. That this is how teachers should be treated, with a lot of respect. If you want them to behave in a confident and energetic manner, Professor earlier was saying very rightly that self-confidence is extremely important with you. These things will imbibe self-confidence in teachers. So to all of you who may be in teaching administration at the moment, or who would become future teacher administrators, please treat the teachers with that respect. Another example, quickly, I will share with you that one of our seniors, I have seen myself, he found that one class was not held when he was taking round. He asked the students who was to be there. They named the teacher. The sir has not come. So what do we do? So he said, okay, you keep calm. I'm sending somebody. Like that. It happened. Later on, I found that person was coming. I myself saw that. That person was coming from front, and the professor was going. He just said, 1 minute. I want to talk to you in isolation. Right? He softly took that person inside another room, and in very soft words, whispering words in his ear, he said something. You can understand what he might have said. I mean, he was complaining. There was a genuine fault by the teacher, but he was complaining very softly. Let the teacher not feel bad about it. So thank you very much. And I don't know whether I have really shared something which you were deserving to be shared. But this is, dear friends, what I all feel about. And I hope you might have gathered something out of it. And please feel free to ask anything on this to me. Thank you very much. Professor, yeah, now you may have questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Please close your. Please stop.
Yeah,
sharing
I have done that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And it is really refreshing, I know, to listen to you. Though it is not very much surprising for people, known people like us. And there is one unusual comment from one of the participants. Is Dr. Sheikh Rasool. Of course, good explanation, good information, valuable session, many people say, but what he said is, your voice is quite energetic.
Thank you. This is not unusual. I mean, this is motivating word for me.
so you know, that is what, you know, actually many people really, because though both the speakers spoke on the same theme, so they know how to make themselves different from the other person. There might be some common points, but the way of presentation is something different, which we need to, younger teachers need to emulate. And especially Professor Raman Rao has spoken about the ideal characteristics of a teacher, whereas he just, Professor Soral, he extended actually the lecture where Professor Rao stopped his lecture, and he touched upon the practical aspects of the practical life, campus life, and the practical challenges and difficulties that are being faced by different type of teachers and different type of systems. The system of governance also differs from institution to institution. And how to, because actually nowadays practically speaking, there is a lot of frustration among younger teachers, and a frustrated teacher would only share frustration with the younger minds. So that is one of the challenges of higher education system in India. And from policy making perspective, Professor G Soral, he provided certain policy directions. I think, sir, I think we should share our policy prescription to someone like UGC chairman, really, especially that issue like recruitment of faculty. And I know there are certain state governments and education ministers and chief ministers, they are openly saying that many vice chancellors already they are facing a lot of charges, corruption charges, especially in case of recruitment. So they stopped making appointments, but that is not the solution. And of course, some states they want to go for centralized recruitment. Then again, universities are asking. Then universities are autonomous bodies, and if vice chancellor is not capable of conducting interviews, then what is the meaning of autonomy, like that they are feeling. But in the process, what is happening is many posts, unfortunately, the state governments are not filling up, even in government systems. That is one harm, I think, we are doing to higher education system. So you really pointed out some of the policy prescription, and thank you so much, sir, for giving your valuable time. And because these sessions are being recorded, I think we would like to utilize this session as an important e-resource in future also. Thank you so much, sir. And now I request Professor Bhartendu Singh to take over.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it was really very interesting and very informative session. I should say that when we got the topic, two different resource persons are supposed to speak on same topic. So we had an idea that many things are going to be repeated. Obviously, some repetitions will be there, but we never felt any kind of repetition there. The way that, because the perspectives were different, the way you discussed, these things were different actually, sir. So it was no way same. It was as Professor Jyotikuma also said that the things that were the points Professor Rao raised, you explained those times, both those points. Like Professor Rao was highlighting that how we should interact with the students, and he told that storytelling method, or 4 or 5 method he mentioned. Storytelling method was one of that, and your presentation was a storytelling method only. So he raised issue and you fulfilled that thing. So like that, this was complementary. Two complementary sessions were there. I was supposed to take up some questions from the participants, but I have not received any questions from them. So I will not go for any questions for this session. But, some highlights. Actually, whole 1 hour long session was full of highlights only. But something like where you focused more was 5 things all teachers should have. Everyone will not be expert in all 5, but we have to try to excel in all those 5. Teaching, research, extension, administration, and consultancy. We may be weak in 1 or 2, but in other 3 and 4, we have to excel. We have to fulfill expectations of the students. 60 students are sitting before us, so we have to justify them. Not only them, their parents we have to justify. We have to be accountable to them, towards them. One more thing, what I liked, and many times actually we discuss this also, and we have to think how far actually we are really practicing it, that we get reputation in the society. If we say that I am from this university, or I am teaching in this school, or any educational institution, we get a kind of respect. People's perspective towards the person changes if they know we are teachers. But whether we are returning these things, whether we are living to that level, so be role model. We have to be role model, because people are looking at us as a ray of hope actually. We have to be example for the society. So that you highlighted very well, sir, in your talk. And one more thing, towards the end, he highlighted that teacher-like treatment is required. If someone is interacting to us, they should teach, they should interact us considering a teacher, and in the same way, we have to respond also. So teacher-like treatment is a must from both the sides. So these are the main highlights what Professor Soral has given. Sir, we had a very small, period in Mizoram. Some 6-8 months you were here. Unfortunately, I should not say unfortunately, but coincidentally, during that period, I was in a college. So our direct interaction was very less. But otherwise, I got a lot of blessings and a lot of guidelines from you in other ways and in some other occasions. So thanks for that. And on behalf of the HRDC, Mizoram University, on behalf of the Department of Commerce, Mizoram University, although, sir, you are part of our family, actually, you are the founding member of the family. And behalf of all the participants who are here, I say thanks for sparing your time and giving a very lively presentation on a very pertinent topic. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. My thanks to both of you, to HRDC Mizoram University, and my best wishes to the participants. Okay. So shall I leave now?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And you may leave.
Thank
sir,
you,
if
Professor Jyoti Kumar. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Some suggestions I just want to share with the participants, and the participants will get their certificate in soft form, maybe within 4 days, right? And every participant will get the participation certificate. And I think this is what this is how we are going to. We wanted to conduct this one-day workshop on this particular important theme. So thank you so much. And I also thank the director, Professor Robin, and the deputy director, Professor Manoj Verma, and the team of HRDC, especially is there always. You are there still? What is your, yeah? What is your good name? I forgot. Yeah, the staff of HRDC. I thank very much. I think it is Richards. Thank you so much, Richards.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think now we can leave. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes.
Thank you all the participants. Pertend, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all participants for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Yeah. We will leave, but Professor Bartendu.
Yes, yes, sir.